the 6th year of Hijrah. That means 2 years before the conquer of Mecca. 2 years of peace between Medina and Mecca. No war, no battles, no revenge. And that would require, by default and by condition and by law, that whoever is under Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam's authorization, under Rasulullah's property, whoever comes under Islam, he is into that truce. He is in the deal. Anyone accepts Islam? With Muhammad. Anyone rejects Islam? With Quraysh. And that brought so much peace into the Arabian Peninsula. Many tribes had revenge between one another. They stopped fighting because of this truce. But then, whoever is following Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is growing more and more. And whoever is following Quraysh, as everyone is noticing down, is shrinking more and more. One of those 2 tribes who had fights and history between them was Banu Khuza'a and Banu Bakr. Banu Khuza'a accepted Islam, followed Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Banu Bakr sticked with Quraysh. We rejected Muhammad. That means you cannot take revenge. Banu Bakr wanted so badly to take the revenge from Banu Khuza'a, but you can't. Because if you do, you're going to break the truce that was signed for 10 years between Muhammad and Quraysh. And that's going to bring wars again. The Battle of Khandaq is not going to be the last. Banu Bakr could not take it. Could not resist the fact that Banu Khuza'a is growing. Banu Khuza'a is getting stronger every single day. There is a blood between them. Cousins. Blood was flying in the air. One day, a man from Banu Bakr was called Nawfal ibn Warqa, gathered Banu Bakr and he said, we will take our revenge. Not just that. He goes to Quraysh and tells them, this is what I'm planning to do. I need your approval. And Quraysh gave him the approval. Who was leading Quraysh at that time? Remember that all the leaders, the big giant leaders died in the Battle of Badr. Those are the elders, the wise people. Even though they had no wisdom in their minds. Amr ibn al-Hakam, he was called Abu al-Hakam because of his wisdom, Abu Jahl. But yet, that wisdom led him with a touch, a drop of arrogance to his death. So the next generation started leading Quraysh. What's the next generation? Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, Safwan ibn Umayyah, Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl. All those are teenagers. They're still young ones. When Nawfal came to them and said, I'm planning to kill Banu Khuza'a. Let's do it. Those are a bunch of young people who had immaturity. They don't know the consequences that will happen to them. Abu Sufyan didn't know anything about it. All the leaders didn't know, and if he knew, he would stop it immediately because they know the consequences out of this breaking. Banu Bakr did not just kill Abu Khuza'a. They waited until they come to Al-Haram, until they perform Umrah. And that's how we make sure they're not holding any weapons or swords. And we will take them down. Banu Khuza'a comes, perform Umrah at peace. No one's going to attack us. We have the peace of Muhammad, the peace of Hudaybiyah, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. But Banu Bakr, the moment they entered, they sieged them. They surrounded them. Banu Khuza'a started yelling, Al-Haram, Al-Haram, Al-Ka'bah, Al-Ka'bah. We are right next to Al-Ka'bah. Wait until we leave at least. Banu Bakr said, La ilaha lakum al-yawm. Today, you have no God. And they started killing them one after the other. One after the other. Blood was on the street around Al-Ka'bah. All of them, 15 men, were killed except one man, Amr ibn Salim. He managed to run away and he made his destination, the one and only destination that can ever save him, Al-Madinah, right to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He goes to Al-Masjid, and at that time, it was Al-Dhuhr time. Everyone at work. No one is at Al-Masjid except 2 people, Rasulullah and Khattab ibn Abi Balta'a. That's the flashback. In another narration, Abu Bakr was sitting with them, but that's the weak one. Khattab and Rasulullah and only them. Amr ibn Salim came running, came with the dress of Umrah on him. And he said the long poem, إني ناشدت الله ومحمدا حلف أبينا وأبيه الأتلدا إن قريشا أخلفوا الموعدا وأخلفوا ميثاقك المؤكدا وقتلونا ركعا سجدا ومزقونا هجدا. A long poem, a beautiful one. And Rasulullah is listening and he's flaming and tapping on his lap, on his thigh. And every time he is speaking, he says to himself, نصرت يا عمرو بن سالم. Khattab, in another narration, he says, خفت على رسول الله. I was afraid Rasulullah would lose it. Some fuse would pump. He was so mad. And he says, نصرت يا عمرو بن سالم. Go. You are victorious. This is one of the very few times that Rasulullah does not conduct mashura. No mashura. The army is to be prepared. 10,000 soldiers. And guess what? You don't even know what's your destination. Imagine the amount of yaqeen that Sahaba has. To prepare your army, put your weapon, ride your horse, say bye to your family. But where are we going? What's the goal? What's the battle? You don't know. Just come. Then they didn't know that Mecca is the destination until they reached an area called Rabigh. And Rabigh is 4 kilometers away from Mecca. Imagine the amount of faith and submission they have to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And that led to the greatest event that we have in the history of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the conquer of Mecca. Now I want you here to highlight and reflect on what Banu Bakr did. Allah has already knew in his pre-made destiny that Rasulullah is going to die after 2 years. And with that, Mecca has to come and submit to him. How would that happen? The truce for 10 years. So according to the truce of Hudaybiyah, Rasulullah will die and Abu Bakr will die and Umar will come and then you can think about Mecca. But no. Allah wants to make sure the Arabian Peninsula, including Mecca, will all submit under the feet of Rasulullah before he dies. But how would he do that? He inflamed the evil inside Banu Bakr to take the revenge, which will cause the truce to be demolished, which will bring Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with no any hesitation to take over Mecca with not a single one blood being shed. Look at the planning. The planning started from disbelievers. If it was not Banu Bakr, Mecca would not be conquered. And with that, we have to reflect on the events of today. How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the worst of his disbelievers, of his slaves, to bring victory to the ummah. That's amazing. Fir'aun was not to be destroyed, but because of his arrogance, the order was, Musa, take your believers, أوحينا إلى موسى أن أسري بعبادي. Leave Egypt. Fir'aun, stick where you are. Leave Egypt. Done. But Fir'aun said, إن هؤلاء لشرذمة قليلون وإنهم لنا لغائظون وإنا لجميع حاذرون. Run after them. And they were killed. And because of that, Banu Israel took over Egypt. Think of Hamza. How did Hamza accept Islam? Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib, Asadul Islam. Wallahi, I claim, when I read the seerah, that the best 2 da'iyas, the best 2 preachers for Islam was Abu Jahl and Abu Lahab. Believe it or not. Abu Lahab, from the amount of times that he would call Rasulullah, he is a liar. Whenever someone comes to Mecca, listen, he is a magician, don't come near to him. I know him. He is my nephew. He is a liar. He is not good in... Once he speaks, he's going to flip your mind. He didn't know that he did a free marketing to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And everyone comes to Mecca, he wants to see, okay, let me try it. The whole tribe of those accepted because of that. Come on, give me some of your magic. Come on, try it in me. It's not going to work. And once he tries it, he accepts Islam. Abu Jahl cursed Rasulullah and insulted his mother. Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib was coming out of one of his hunting trips. A woman meets him and tells him, أما سمعت ما يقول أبو جهل في ابن أخيك? Didn't you hear what Abu Jahl is saying about your nephew? قال ما قال لَقَدْ سَبَّ أُمَّهُ سَبًّا قَبِيحًا. He insulted his mother in the worst, filthiest words. Hamza ran to Abu Jahl. He went, Banu Khuzaymah, put him aside, and he smacked him with his arrow on his nose. فَقَالَ أَتَسُبُّ مُحَمَّدًا وَأَنَا عَلَى دِينِهِ. How dare you insult Muhammad and I'm following his religion? Hamza was not following his religion. He said it out of the flame to protect his own family. But then they hold it on him. And a word comes out of a mouth of an Arab, you can't take it back. He said, I'm in trouble. He goes the next day to Rasulullah sallam, and he asks him, Ma dinuk? What's your religion? And Rasulullah started teaching him the religion, and he accepted it. Thanks to Abu Jahl, whom, if not him, Hamza would not be interested. That's not his cup of tea. But because of him, Asadul Islam came to Islam. When you see the situation, what's happening now in Nigeria and how things are flamed against Muslims. What's happening in Sudan, which is coming to the surface. What's happening in Gaza and the force for the first time ever. This genocidal regime is going above and beyond, you know. It's the script Allah writing behind the stage. And that darkness, that blood that is being shed is worth it. Worth it for the victory to come. Those 15 people who were killed in Banu Khuza'ah, when you know after everything comes to an end that the result of it was Fath Makkah, you say it's worth it. We needed that blood. And if it's not that blood, Makkah would not come to Islam. Rasulullah ﷺ says, لا يدخل الجنة إلا مؤمن. Only believers would enter Jannah. وإن الله لينصر هذا الدين بالرجل فاجر. Allah would bring victory to this ummah through the corrupted and disobedient man. And just enjoy and watch the enemies of Allah are bringing the victory to the religion of Allah. Barakallahu li wa lakum. Sallallahu wa sallam ala nabina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Yes.
Fir'aun was waiting for a good example for this because he gathered the whole people. He said, "Are you gonna come?" He gathered the whole, and they waited for like their big celebration day. And he made big stage. He spent all his money.